starting.
We're going to start by letting people know that you ripped your pants this morning.
It was really funny getting into the car. I still haven't listened to the SpongeBob song I wanted to listen to today. Just a fool who ripped his pants.
You sat down and you went, I just ripped my pants. I don't know why it's so funny, but it is.
It's not that funny.
Oh, well, I don't even know what episode this is, guys. It's been so stinking long since we've recorded an episode. Let's see here.
It's my fault. I've been sick. Still a little sick. This is the third week now.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. Okay, this is episode 23.
There's no songs about 23.
Nope. So the last thing we did, we talked about being grateful for stuff. And now on episode 23 of the pod, you gonna sneeze?
No, I was yawning.
We're pretty loose tonight. But hey, this episode is going to be pretty much a life recap for all the things. What do you mean?
We've always been doing life recaps.
That's not true.
Okay.
The last 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they've all been very.
But like the first part of the gratitude one was like life. Yeah, wow, I can't speak. Life recap was most of it.
Yeah, but we got stuff to talk about now. You know.
Fine, let's talk about stuff.
Oh, exciting stuff. Yeah. Well,
You just gonna say it?
I don't know. I'm nervous. Why don't you give us an update on your life first? People love you more.
This morning, I was getting into the car.
Stop.
And I ripped my pants.
Give us a good update.
I've just been sick, so I haven't been doing a lot of things. I'm still congested with a little cough.
You sound a lot better though.
I do. I sounded like a man for a while.
Rough. You were sick for a long time.
I'm still a little sick.
Gosh, and then we got so busy with everything, all these Christmas parties, all these events and everything, and so we just did not record.
Yes.
So it's pretty wild.
Because I feel like once this becomes a chore, then we need to revisit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. But not a chore yet. Still a fun audible journal, you know? Just documenting the milestones of our lives.
Like time. Oh, no. Like sand through an hourglass.
So proud of you, though. I was thinking that.
These are the days of our lives.
I was really thinking that. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, we bought some land, and so you're starting to aggressively find ways we jobs. Can do that. Yeah.
And then Taylor's aggressively trying to spend my extra money.
Our extra money.
Oh, now it's our. Now it's our because a life update just happened for Taylor, which is really a life date for us.
Whoa.
But he kept on saying how much everyone loved him and was congratulating him and not us. So when did we become an us again?
Well,
when you wanted my money?
What she is referencing is kind of a really cool thing. And so I want to start and rewind a little bit to give everybody context of... No, I wasn't going to do that. To give everybody kind of an update on, or like a history on why this is so massive. So 2013, I got married and took a new, 2013.
I'm just saying, like, dang, you're going way back.
Well, it makes sense for the context. So 2013, got married, and within the same month, left the church that I grew up in, that my parents attend still to this day, and started a job as a super part-time student ministry worship leader, essentially. And before that, I had done so much with student ministry worship and all kinds of fun stuff like that. And so ended up, starting to do some more of that stuff at the church. And 2015 helped launch a campus. So entered into the world of, adult worship leading. and did that for a while until a few years after that, when our team had grown so much, worship team had grown so much that there were people who were very good and gifted at leading worship. And there was this girl that had grown to do things just about as good as I would do them, for the risk of sounding
not conceited.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I realized how that sounded.
When you're talented and you're good at your job, it's just what it is.
Yeah. So as a volunteer, she was doing what I do. And I realized that I was kind of becoming a cap for her. John Maxwell talks about how there's this law of the lid. And so with people on your team, if you want to help them succeed and excel, you have to remove the lid so that they're able to exceed that boundary and stuff like that. And so I realized that I was kind of a lid for her. So I went up to our campus pastor and I said, hey, man, I'm a lid for her, and she's not going to have anywhere to go. She's going to have to leave the team and do all this kind of stuff because I'm always going to be here and blah, blah, blah. So she needs to do worship and I need to do anything else. So we can move me wherever you want. And that was when I stepped into like an associate pastor kind of role, and did that for a couple of years, liked it. And then last Easter? I know we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but whatever. So after that,
it wasn't last Easter. It was like the Easter before last.
2 Easters ago?
Yeah, so about 18 months ago.
Yeah. So about 18 months, I guess, stepped into out of campus, local campus ministry onto the central resource team for creative pastoring. And that's what I've been doing ever since. Resourcing campuses with videos, graphics, sermon graphics, podcast intros for their, Sunday morning podcast, all kind of crazy stuff. And liked it until up about, when we really started being honest with you guys.
6 months ago?
About 6 months ago, yeah, where I just really started to feel like, man, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be. This is just not quite at all where I feel like, God has me. And so really wrestled with that. And so I met up with our lead pastor, met up with another one of our executive pastors, and just kind of was honest. And I said, hey, do you guys feel like I'm on the right seat of the bus? And I'd expressed that I kind of felt like I was spinning wheels and tires, and they were like, we think you're doing a great job. Like, what you're doing is good. And so we just kind of carried on, and it was rough. And I've tried to be as honest with you guys as I could. But it was really tough behind the scenes to kind of walk through that. How did you feel like when I talked to them about that and when I really started expressing disappointment, Liz?
I love how we're just so, because 'tis the season for sickness, but the podcast must go on. I was just frustrated because I saw for the very first time in 10 years, and granted we've been married 10 years, but dating beforehand, 4. So like for the first time in like, I guess 15 years of watching you do ministry, I thought it was burnout at first. I'm like, you're just getting burnt out. Like, it's fine. Like, set better boundaries. Good to go. But then and then we did the whole spiritual discipline thing because I'm like, okay, it's not just your boundaries. You are lacking in the Lord, which was true, but because you became so dispassionate about everything.
Yeah.
And it was just really frustrating to see because I knew your potential and I knew you weren't happy, but then you would just kind of come home and be blah about it. So yeah, I wasn't getting your best, and I'm okay with that for a certain amount of time because you and we can operate very independently of each other, which is good for us. But we've talked about it before. We have to be careful that we don't become roommates because we're both so self-driven, and independent. But then I just started noticing you would just come home and veg out, and you didn't care about anything. To the point of, I was like, do you even love Jesus anymore?
It was a tough season.
Do you even care? Like, you started a project management certification because you were trying to get, you were looking for avenues to do anything but what you were doing, that, which is fine. Like, if you felt the release to move on from faith, that's fine. But like I said in the previous podcast, I need you to be seeking after the Lord before you make this big decision.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was disheartening. I was not getting your best self, and I'm a little selfish, and I am your first ministry, so
As you
I was
should be.
getting frustrated.
Yeah, for sure. It was probably I would say it was the hardest season of my life, because for the first time I felt stuck. And
it wasn't helpful because I wasn't in the best season either with all my family stuff. So we both, I would say, had a very hard season this past year.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. And so I had that conversation with them, and I was honest, and they were affirming. They were they're saying like, you're doing a great job, all that kind of stuff. But it was the craziest thing, because probably about 2 months ago, I think, is when it happened. But at the end
of October,
our worship pastor and his wife just felt the Lord opening up the door for a new season for them. And so they ended up, in the beginning of November, we announced that they were transitioning out. And it was just wild, because people were like, people that I hadn't had conversations at all with, that didn't know where I was mentally or anything else. And they were just like, so you gonna do that? You gonna step into that? And that was an interesting season too, because the Lord really brought a lot of stuff to the surface in my flesh of entitlement and pride. And it's very difficult when, people around you are saying that you should do something, and leadership has not given you the authority to do something yet. And you start start feeling self-righteous, and you're like, I deserve this, and I should get this, and I should blah, blah, blah. And it's all literally the enemy just trying to get you to your flesh riled up and stuff. And so I had an honest conversation with leadership again, and I said, hey, so here's where I am. I know this is open, and I would love to have the dialogue about what it would look like to transition into that role. And so, and this is kind of cool, because I don't think a lot of people get this side of ministry. I think a lot of times they see it as this, like, they see it only from the congregation perspective, where it's like, oh, after much prayer, like, this person is now going to be this thing. They don't know this kind of stuff that we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool. So met up with them, and I was honest, and I said, hey, this is something that I'm very interested in. What does that look like? And so we met a few times and took a couple of weeks to pray through it. And as of last Sunday, we announced to the church that I am stepping into the one of our broadcast campuses worship leader role, and also our central team worship pastor role.
And the Somerville campus one.
Our broadcast campus, yeah.
But also, it's still Somerville. It's Somerville
Somerville's
and broadcast. But yeah, but why didn't
broadcast
you just say
is
the
not
location?
central.
Yeah, but they announced it as like the Somerville and Central.
Central, right.
Somerville just happens to be broadcast. We never referred to Somerville as our broadcast.
I do.
Yeah, you're like the only one who would say broadcast over Somerville.
I'm not going to say main campus, because that's still offensive. But
but it's Somerville.
It's true. But it's cool stuff. So how do you feel?
And we were talking about just the Lord's timing, because around 18 months ago, many positions became open, whereas a campus pastor position that at the campus we were serving at was open. And at the same time, we knew the central worship pastor was transitioning. So there was a lot of transition at 18 months ago, and then the creative pastor. And so, not saying every single position was, vying for Taylor to work it, but Taylor had the option to put his name in the hat for every single position.
And I was ready to.
Yeah.
Anything is an escape route.
But no, I'm talking like 18 months ago. So 18 months ago, you had 3 opportunities to put your name in the hat. Not saying like, I just explained it.
Campus pastoring.
The creative.
Yeah.
And that's when the other we knew the other transition was happening in like the future.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying you had the opportunity to throw your name in the hat with almost all of them. So it was kind of like you questioning, did I make the right choice?
Yeah.
Was this a possibility, or should we have done this? But 18 months ago, this position wasn't available because they had the two positions separated: central worship pastor and some of a worship pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I feel I like that it's the best of both worlds, because now you can still pour into other leaders and resource all the worship teams across faith. But also my favorite part is we will be planted at a campus.
Yes.
Because we've been kind of vagabonding it but for the past 18 months.
That is so hard.
Yes, it wasn't. I didn't realize how hard it was until I got so excited to be planted.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, that is really cool. So that's what's going on in my life. Pretty cool updates.
That is cool.
Yep.
I'm excited. And everyone's so kind. Everyone, and as Taylor is an Enneagram 3, honestly, he's loving all this affirmation. I am. He is eating it up and leaving no crumb.
Stop. I hate that so much.
Taylor hates that. That's the and for the older listeners, that is the lingo right now.
Is that what the kids are saying?
That is what the kids are saying.
He's
like crumbs. I was like, no, we left no crumb. Like single, not a single crumb. So there's no S. And Taylor hates it, but it's fun. So it's just been really encouraging, telling people how like you're perfect for this position, and people coming up to you and letting you, like, you know, just kind of saying like you would be perfect for this role. Yeah. Well, like, can we let the other people leave first before y'all try to? Because we always want to honor the people who laid foundations before.
It is true.
It is fun.
And it's something, it's interesting. Like I think the human side of it makes it awkward, because I still love my predecessors.
Oh, yeah, of
and
course.
I still want to maintain a relationship. But I think the human side of us goes, it's going to be weird.
No, we were talking to the OG on Sunday about it and how he was so excited. The OG being, for people who listen from Faith, Laurel Strickland.
Oh.
He's fantastic. And so just chit-chatting with him, and he was talking about how he remembers being in the gym and like the first like building where it was the church/gym days, and just watching all this stuff, like the buildings get built. I mean, Laurel laid down the foundation, and he's still just a movable piece, and it's like super, super encouraging. Just knowing, I'm like, and he's so humble. I'm like, but dude, I was like, you set this whole foundation. Like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Right. And then he's watched, I think I counted like 3 or 4 now of his people come and gone.
It's pretty wild.
Well, not his, and I hate the term replacement, like not replacement, but you know what I mean. The people who
next generation.
Yeah, the mantle. He watched the mantle get passed.
Ooh, yeah, that's
for
that's
the next,
spiritual.
like, you know, 3, 4 people. So, and then even then, I would hope that whoever comes after you, our prayer would be give them a double portion.
They won't. I'm gonna die in this role.
Are you? Oh, okay. I mean, that's fine. Whatever the Lord says.
Just kidding. It's exciting though. It is really an exciting season. I'm pumped about it. So good stuff on my side of the table tonight, Liz.
Yeah, I was talking to my therapist today, and I was just kind of giving her an update, because with my sickness and whatnot, it's been a little bit, about like a month since I've been to therapy. And so I was just kind of telling her the update with the land, because she didn't know we already bought the land. I was telling her the update with the job, because I was talking about how stressed I am. She's like, I feel a different energy. Like, I'm so happy for you guys. I'm like, yeah, we needed a win.
That's sweet.
She's like, honestly, yeah, you did. Like, you guys awesome. Needed a win. So that was fun. I think this was like the first therapy session yet that didn't turn into just me talking about my traumatic past. I actually like got to update her about like, oh, this is what's going on in my life, and this is what's happening, and this is what I enjoy doing in my free time. And we got to talk a little bit more than the trauma. So I'm like, okay.
You mentioned the cleaning thing.
Cleaning?
Did you say that came up?
Cleaning for what?
I thought.
Oh, but because of me needing to do creative outlets and whatnot. And so she told me, because I mentioned how I used to paint, she was like, you really need to get back into painting. And it was expressing the benefits of like having that outlet. And then I mentioned to her, I was like, well, it's like, yeah, we just have to clean out the junk room because that's where all my paints and stuff is.
Yep.
And get kind of like that like corner set up again. And she was like, well, that's your homework.
Dang.
I was like, dang it.
Fine.
Well, I also mentioned, because with we talked about Christmas too. And I told her how oftentimes, and guys, I made this mistake last time when I told someone we don't have Christmas plans and we get bored. They invited us for Christmas dinner. So please don't do that. We enjoy our boredom. But, disclaimer. I was talking about how, like, because we either do stuff with family either before or after Christmas, we just get so bored.
Yeah.
Because everywhere else is closed. She was like, well, you guys need boredom. You can reconnect with each other, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, we just get bored. So we go to the movies, which we enjoy, but
Boredom is a gift.
It is, and we don't treasure it enough. But then she told me, well, if we get bored on Christmas Day, then we have to clean the junk room.
So we'll just stack our calendar on December 25th with stuff we have to do.
Like what?
Then we don't have to clean.
But then but why wouldn't we put the junk room? And we're not junky people. It's just we rent out rooms. We've rent out rooms to roommates for the past few years. And when they move out, they leave some stuff. And I'm
past
kind of
10 years, Liz.
Yeah. Well, we've only been like a few years in this house, though.
Oh,
it's not like we took past roommates' junk with us.
Every house we've lived in, we've rented rooms, though.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, so I just didn't want the listeners to think we were just junky people. But like, so we have like a little bed in there from one roommate, which is a nice bed. And we have just like shelves or little things they left because it's like, you can have this. And my hoarder self's like, thank you.
Cha-ching, we made it. Free stuff. I don't know.
I was like, oh, I can probably sell this on Marketplace, or I can repurpose this, or I can use this, or this can go in my classroom. I'm a hoarder, send help.
Tough stuff.
But yeah, we're excited.
She said you had a different energy.
Yeah.
I can't move past that. That's really good.
Yeah. Well, probably because I wasn't crying about my trauma today.
Hey, but you did cry today.
Yeah. Because I got Taylor a custom Christmas gift and it doesn't look right. And it's one of those things that I probably should have been more specific. So it's going to fall on me.
Oof.
More than likely. And it was like homemade. So like, you don't want someone else to like remake it, but I don't like it. And it was expensive, but it's not what I envisioned. And it was expensive and I was really excited about it. And I just cried.
We were also watching an episode of The Office where...
Which I don't even care about The Office that much, but other people were crying on the TV and it unlocked the floodgates and I started crying. Yep. Freaking Jim.
Michael leaves.
Yeah, but I didn't even care that Michael got emotional because Michael's just emotional. But when Jim got emotional, I'm like... Yeah.
Tough episode.
Yeah, but that's the update. And now it's... just I gotta survive until Christmas, I feel like, which is very sad. I need to make margin, but I was telling you this morning, I just have so much to do. I don't want to do anything.
But you kind of did this to yourself.
I did do this to myself.
Nobody told you to do cookie glasses,
but they're so fun, but there's so much prep work.
But you have 40-pound bags under your eyes and you're like, I'm just so tired all the time.
That was rude. That was very rude.
I had to tell the people. They can't see.
My hair's in a messy bun. It's fine. I'm fine. My pants ripped this morning because I might have gained a little weight.
I just ripped my pants. That's not real.
They were also very old. So old with my thighs increasing slightly in size.
Prayer Jabez. Enlarge our
territory.
Pants, Lord.
But at that point, you just have to laugh at that. Like, because, I mean, you know when you haven't been taking care of your body.
Nope. I'm just kidding. I do. I'm just kidding.
So, in case you haven't heard, so 3 or 4 years ago, that's when I had my healthy era where I was like super active and working out, and Taylor was like, screw that.
Dang.
But Taylor never gains weight no matter what. And now Taylor's in his healthy era, And
Everything's an era.
yeah, thank you, Taylor Swift, for making everything an era.
She's come up twice in our podcast, and
I don't even listen to her at all. It's just so fun. Because I'm a people follower and pleaser.
Is that why you like Twilight?
No. Okay, I think there's a different things between like being a people pleaser and like jumping on the bandwagon. I don't know actually where I'm going. I'm just rambling at this point.
That's true though. Like you hear bandwagon stuff in sports, but also like pop culture stuff. If it's trending, it's cool, and everybody has to be a part of it.
But I'm excited people are like jumping on the anime bandwagon. Like One Piece. Oh my gosh, you even watched the live action?
True. You trying to keep track of time?
I don't know. I'm just rambling.
This is a filler episode, Liz. Consider this a filler episode.
We don't have an outline, and I never want to have content where it's just dumb.
But you need this levity sometimes, you know?
Maybe put in the description, you may skip if you want to. I don't know. Which is very exciting. This is a big life update.
Yeah. Seriously.
So
I was depressed, and now it's like the conclusion, and we're just like,
I was like, are we done talking now?
It's a filler.
This podcast be over? What else are we going to say?
But it is cool.
I'm happy
Yep.
that you're happy.
And I mean, for me, the job change thing is a mindset change. Like it flowed over into my mindset, which flowed over into small little baby things like the music that I listen to, which affects you. And you were like, wow, we've like never listened to this much worship music, which
I enjoy because I primarily listen to worship and Disney movies.
I do not.
Worship. Yeah, no, Taylor does not. So honestly, but also it's going to seep over in everything you do. So hopefully it also seeps over in your road rage.
I feel like it has.
That's good.
I haven't been like mega
It's
like,
all
crazy
about
with that stuff.
perspective.
Well, I guess we can wrap it up there. Any
a
last
short
thoughts
episode?
for the people at home or at work or at the gym or walking their dogs?
I had one, but then I forgot about it.
All right, we'll wait here until you think about it. We won't move on.
No, just keep on. A moment of silence for my thoughts.
Gosh, the worst.
Stop.
Well, cool, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us on episode 23. Sorry that there's no cool songs that mention 23.
I can just think of 23andMe DNA.
It's our Jordan episode.
23 is the Jordan year.
It's Michael Jordan's number, basketball number.
Oh, okay, I thought you were getting confused with Jeff Gordon. I'm like, that is 24.
We'll say that next episode.
I was already prepared. Dang it.
So can't wait to see you guys in the Jeff Gordon episode next week. But until then, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Taylor Clyde, at Elizabeth P. Clyde. Send us a DM. If you don't want to hear any more filler episodes like this,
we need content.
Then shoot us ideas for future conversations that you'd like to hear. Maybe some insights that you feel like we could share. They're definitely not going to be the right way to do things, but we'd love to journey through it with you. So until the Jeff Gordon episode,
Vroom, vroom.
That was the worst. It's always real when you silent laugh.
I can't breathe.
Okay, see you guys later.